Hello and welcome. This is Claire Smith from Surrender in Prayer. Today we're going to be looking at a question many people have when they are considering and looking at how to pray, either as a beginning to a prayer time or deepening their prayer time. That question is, when is the best time to pray? This is an important question on your prayer journey, and I will be sharing 3 tips to help you discover your optimum prayer time. Before we get fully into those 3 tips, here is something to consider. The morning. There is just something about the morning time and the stillness of the early morning before the hustle and the bustle. Not only you're hustling, but just in general. It's as if the world, as if life is still and there is less happening in the atmosphere. Perhaps that's why the psalmist says, "O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I plead my case to you and watch." And that's in Psalm 5 verse 3. And that reading came from the New Revised Standard Version. And it's a powerful thing that in the morning God is hearing, you're pleading. And then we have Jesus. We know that Jesus prayed in the morning, even though that wasn't his exclusive time. In Mark 1 verse 35 we read, "In the morning, while it was still very dark, he got up and went to a deserted place, and there he prayed." Now, for some people, when they hear that, they're encouraged about praying in the morning. But for some people, it's discouraging because there is the reality of life. And some of us, it seems we're just not wired that way. Now, people say you can rewire yourself to change into a morning person. But as someone who's a night owl, I know it's not that easy. Though I encourage early morning praying in the stillness, it's a struggle. And it's as if sometimes we make it and sometimes we don't. So we're dealing with body clock. And then we're also dealing with work schedules. Some people work in the night. Some people work in the night, and when early morning comes, they're just exhausted. And then there are people who, they may not be on a full night schedule, night shift, but they get off at a time when it's hard to get up early because it may be in the middle of the night. And then there's the family responsibility that people carry depending on your family situation. So these are some of the realities you have to deal with as you consider what is your optimum prayer time, when is the best time to pray. Having said that, here are the 3 tips that are so important in considering what to do with your prayer time. First of all, determine how important God is. Ask yourself, how important is God to me? Because if God is not important, then it really doesn't matter what time you pray. And the other thing to ask yourself is, how important is connecting with God? How important, in other words, is prayer? And then why? Why a prayer time? And this determines the type you want. Because do you want a prayer time that is intentional? An intentional moment of connecting deeply to know God more, to receive God's filling and direction? Or are you just content to just chit-chat with God as you go along during the day? Now, if you're seeking a time of deep connection, the 3rd tip becomes very important, and that is alertness. And here you want to ask yourself, When am I most alert? Mentally, spiritually, and physically. Because that is the time when you will be able to give God your best. And so, how will you know when is your best time? If God and prayer are very important and you want to experience God more fully through honest, surrendered heart praying, you will pick your most alert time. And if you can, you will make adjustments to your schedule to meet with God in that optimum time. And so, when is the best time to pray? The question with which we began. Here is the answer. You hold the key because you know how important God and prayer are to you and the type of prayer time you want, and you also know your most alert time. So now that you hold the key and you know the key, just use it. Thank you so much for sharing this Surrender in Prayer video with us. God bless you as you continue your prayer journey and go deeper in experiencing God more fully through honest, surrendered heart praying.